Welcome back to Channel 199. It is day 34 as we enter week 10 of the Oscar Pistorius trial. In studio with me now is former Zimbabwean High Court Judge Chris Greenland. Welcome back to Channel 199. You and I, of course, have been chatting throughout the afternoon. Before the ad break, we played, of course, a clip from Ivan Lin's testimony. And the first question I must ask you is how relevant in the wider context of the issues at play here?
It's relevant, especially from the defense point of view, in order to subvert the reliability, perhaps to a lesser extent the credibility of Michelle Berger and her husband, and the Stips in particular, who gave what one would call damaging evidence that they heard Riva scream while shots were still being fired.
Yes, they spoke of blood-curdling screams, didn't they?
Yes, they said it was a woman's scream, but I mean we can say it was Riva. So it's relevant. It's to subvert the reliability of that evidence. I think it's an uphill problem for the defense.
Yes, that was my next question. Is it going to do so successfully, at least on the basis of what we've heard so far?
If I was to take a bet on it, I would say no, for a number of reasons. Firstly, I don't know whether Lynn has tested the hearing capacity of the witnesses whose evidence the defense is seeking to subvert.
Right, because, hold on, I just want to make sure I'm understanding you there, learned judge.
Yeah.
Because if that isn't the case, you can present any number of scenarios and say, at this distance, at those decibels, this might or might not be the fact. But unless you know specific to that individual, it's all academic.
Well, more or less, yes. What I know from our own experiences, and I hope that under cross-examination this will all come out, that there is a huge variation in the hearing ability of human beings. We had a priest at school that could hear things at unbelievable distances. My wife has got fantastic hearing ability. There's that aspect. In other words,
on the other hand, I might say my teenage son often doesn't hear me 10 meters away.
All my children don't listen.
Yeah,
but that's different from hearing. And also, the other side of the equation is, does he know at what decibels Oscar actually screamed? Because the defense is claiming that all these screams were Oscar. I don't know how he's able to recreate that. The last factor are the conditions at the time. You know, in our home, for instance, Bongani, there's a strange phenomena where you can hear things very clearly in one direction and you can't hear it in the other direction. And I also gave you that example of 2 nights in succession when we were camped and the people on the other side of the dam could hear every word we said on the one night and couldn't hear anything the following night. So can he recreate the conditions at that estate on that night? Because temperature, barometric pressure, all kinds of things affect the way sound travels.
And of course, Lynn was quite clear that he can't, in fact, replicate, exactly the conditions of the night in question. And so, whilst he can talk, with specific detail and around the technicalities of what is possible, this is all theoretic in a sense because we don't really know. I mean, one of the things that one might ask is that we don't know at what decibels Oscar Pistorius screams. We don't know at what decibels certainly Riva Steenkamp would have screamed on the night in question if she did at all.
Exactly, and I mean that's the point that I had already made. So I think the evidence is useful and it's interesting, but whether it will be able to really subvert the hard evidence of 2 credible, reliable witnesses, if the court sees them like that, I think there's a problem there.
And I suppose we also go back to this whole idea that these were witnesses who came forward not fully aware of what was going on and who the individuals involved were. They just came forward and said, this is what we heard.
Yeah, speaking for myself, I was very impressed with those witnesses. I don't have any reason to suppose that they are being mendacious or capricious or in any way untruthful. Obviously, it's up to the court, but so from my stance, I see a problem.
Well,
I see this as desperate tactics.
Judge, that's where we have to leave it for now. Thank you very much for your insights throughout this afternoon.
Thank you.